Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome to TV Guide Live. I'm Mickey O'Connor, and with me today I have my colleagues Liz Raftery and our award season expert Joyce Eng. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
Thanks for being here. It's Emmy nominations day. We've got the complete list live now on tvguide.com. We're going to talk about what these nominations mean. We've got a lot to discuss, all the best shows and performances of the year, the surprises and the snubs, the records that were broken, and our predictions for the winners. If you have any questions about the Emmy nominations or anything on TV, please send them now to @TVGuide on Twitter with the hashtag TVGLive or on Facebook in the comments below. All right, let's get to it. The first thing I want to mention is the big winners, the people with the most nominations. Who is it, Joyce?
Game of Thrones with 23, and right behind it is Juice, a.k.a. The People versus O.J. Simpson, American Crime Story with 22.
And then after that is Fargo at 18, right?
Yeah.
So this is a big day for FX in general, but also a big day for like the limited series category,
yeah,
right?
it's going to be a battle between Juice and Fargo, but Juice has the edge.
Keep calling it Juice. Yeah, so, I mean, but it's also like the place now where like movie stars are going to sort of like come do television for a little while, so they do limited series. So it's like Kirsten Dunst is nominated and, you know, some other people. The American Horror Story and the American Crime Story. John Travolta was nominated today.
Yeah, and Cuba actually got in for Juice.
That was kind of surprising, right?
It was surprising because, I mean, if you like poll anyone who watched the whole miniseries, like no one would actually pick Cuba as their favorite.
It's
or
a very
best.
Generous nomination.
Yeah, he just kind of got swept along with the ride.
I mean, I just feel like there were so many great performances on that show, as I talked about incessantly when I was watching
Sarah
it.
Paulson.
Yeah.
So will finally win her much-deserved Emmy. She should have won 2 years ago, but, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and there's so many great performances. And they were all nominated, including David Schwimmer, which I wasn't really sure that he needed to be nominated either, but...
I really think they just threw Cuba a bone. They were like, oh, everyone else got
and
in.
if he wins, he'll be halfway to an EGOT.
Oh, that's true. That's right. All right, and so let's talk about some of your other surprises. So what was a big surprise for you?
Just the Americans finally breaking through another, you know, feather for FX's cap.
Yeah.
It's been just snubbed, not completely, but its first 3 seasons, it only got 5 nominations total, 3 of which were for Margot Martindale. It got 5 this year alone, including drama series and lead actor and lead actress for Matthew Rhys and Kerry Russell.
And also
of course,
Morgan Martin.
yeah, she's back, you know.
Yeah, so that's something that critics have been like screaming for years
and this was
years.
season 4. This was its best season, so it's really great that it finally made it in for its best season.
And this is also the year that drama series gets shaken up a little bit because Mad Men is gone.
Yeah, there was a guaranteed open slot with Mad Men gone, but not only did, like, you could say the Americans took that slot, but there was another new drama series nominee in Mr. Robot, which meant someone else had to go, which was Orange is the New Black.
Right. So that was we'll get to the snubs, but first let's talk about some of the other surprises. First of all, every single actor who appears on Game of Thrones was nominated, right?
300 stars from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones.
I think that like those battle scenes, like every single one of those people, they got a nomination.
Every White Walker was nominated.
Even like a horse got
Best
in.
supporting White Walker.
Yeah. But half of the supporting drama actress field is Game of Thrones actresses. Lena Headey, Emilia Clarke, who've been nominated before, they're back, but Maisie Williams got in this year.
Right, which is great.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage, he's nominated, but Kit Harington also made it in.
Right.
You wrote a thing saying that Game of Thrones is going to dominate the Emmys until it's over. Did that come into play? Like, what's...
No, not really. Not in the nomination portion of the voting.
First of all, let's back up. Why do you think that Game of Thrones is going to dominate?
Because of a change in the voting last year. That's why it won so many awards last year, because now the whole Emmy member body can vote for the winners.
Populist shift, you would say.
Yeah, it's a popularity vote right now for the winners. It used to be a blue ribbon panel with just like 70 to 80 people voting for the
baseball. Like
and you were required to watch the episode submissions from the actors and the shows, but now it's just an honor system, and no one's going to watch 42 episodes.
So it is going to be a popularity contest.
Yeah, which is why Game of Thrones won last year and why Peter Dinklage won last year. So.
I wonder if it means that there's going to be a lot of like campaigning. Like, I wonder if it means that like people are going to do a lot of like talk show appearances over the summer and like stuff like that, just to.
I don't think it like really matters. Like that
not
kind
the
of
same.
matters more
It's
for
not
the
the same as
Oscars.
the Oscars,
Yeah,
right,
like it's like. you know, that there's so much TV too. It's like you kind of know like your favorites already, or like your friends, or you know what you hear about.
Right. So let's talk about Blackish. So Blackish was nominated
in comedy series.
Series. Anthony Anderson was nominated again.
Yeah. He was very excited when he
announced the nominations.
Right. And also Tracy Ellis Ross got a nomination. So this is a bit of a landmark, right?
Yeah, because she is the first Black actress to be nominated in comedy lead actress in 30 years since Felicia Rashad.
In 30 years.
Yeah.
That's insane. And she's great. So. All right, so we'll move along to the snub so that you can talk about Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
So Orange is the New Black was like all but shut out, right?
Pretty much. It got one nomination
for
casting.
For casting, which
Just
makes sense.
This is for season 3, not season 4, which just premiered.
Right.
We need to make that clear.
Right.
Which I think is good. I mean, I personally thought that season 3 was pretty lackluster for the show.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad that.
Yeah, it's like appropriate because the thing was season 4 premiered during the nomination voting period, so people could have been swayed, you know, if they're watching season 4, just been like, oh, I really like the season, I'll vote for Orange, but they didn't.
So next year, Samira Wiley will get her nomination and everything.
Maybe. I mean, if people haven't totally forgotten about it by then,
That's
right?
true.
So what else? So a few other things. The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, it was dropped last year.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the Emmys are done with you, they're just done forever. Right. Like you'll never come back. And Jim Parsons was dropped last year too. He didn't make it back in.
Yeah. And he won a bunch of times.
He won 4 times. I'm okay with him not coming back because I don't think if he wins again, it'll be number 5 and that'll be the record in the category. He's right now tied with Michael J. Fox, Kelsey Grammer, and Carol O'Connor for most wins.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
So I don't really think he needs the 5th one.
No.
Right. Also, The Good Wife. Its farewell season.
It got a slap in the face.
It got a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
Nice.
it was a long shot for it to come back in drama series. It's still the last broadcast show to be nominated in drama series, and that was way back in 2011. But Juliana Margulies, she was snubbed last year. She didn't make it back in. The big surprise for me was Christine Baranski, because she was the only regular who was nominated every year for the past 6 years, and she didn't make it in supporting. Which is maybe a good thing, because if she were nominated and she lost this year, she would have been the category's biggest loser.
Right. All right, so I'm going to turn to questions for a second and see what you guys are sending a lot of questions right now, and I'm going to see what we have here. Let's see. Why is there no love anymore for The Big Bang Theory? Carl on Twitter asks. Now, you kind of just went over that a little bit. It's like they're kind of just done with it, right?
They were just like
I mean, Modern Family's still in there.
Yeah, it's like, but Modern Family, like, you know, it won 5 straight years, and like, you know, that's also more like Emmy friendly than like The Big Bang Theory. I think like, I've always felt like they nominated in comedy series just because it was such a popular show. So like sometimes they do that. Like
traditional comedy series, sitcom. Like I think that the Emmys seem to be slowly but surely sort of catching on to the more alternative comedy shows that are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, something like Veep, for example, is not a traditional sitcom, but
like Transparent.
Transparent.
Although I don't think that's a comedy, but that's a different story.
That's another.
That's a different discussion.
Yeah.
That's another TV Guide Live. So let's see what else. Serena on Twitter asks, how does the most watched show, #1 show, never win an Emmy? #NCIS.
Oh, I'll let Liz take that one.
Do you think they're doing creatively adventurous work, Liz?
I mean, you know, there's only, 6 or 7 nominees per category, and I don't really know that NCIS would distinguish itself right up there with the best of the TV world right now.
I think it's also fair to say that procedurals in general they don't generally do well.
But like back in the day, like in the 60s, when that was just all that was on TV, like cop shows.
But like The Good Wife is a procedural, basically.
It's a serialized procedural.
Has serialized elements.
Yeah, I mean, I think The Good Wife was also like a critical darling. Like, I never really watched, but you know, had broader themes going on. So I don't know.
I mean, Mariska Hargitay won 10 years ago for
That's
SVU.
true.
She's the only Law and Order regular to have ever won an Emmy.
Wow. All right, so here's my question for you. What one person or a show that wasn't nominated would you have in your dream Emmy nominations list? Joyce?
Well, as everyone in the office knows, I love The Grinder.
Everyone in the world knows at this point, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't going to get nominated. It would have been a huge surprise if it had gotten into comedy series.
Like, Fox didn't mount a campaign for it, right?
No, and Timothy Olyphant wasn't even submitted for Guest Actor, so it was, But
didn't Rob Lowe, like, kind of do something a little grassroots on Twitter or something? Like,
he was, tweeting. He got a Globe nomination for it, which was expected.
Yeah.
That was way back in January.
But that was before it was canceled, too, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's focusing on Code Black now.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Liz?
I was thrilled to see Maura Tierney get a nomination for The Affair. But
you wanted more Affair.
Yeah, I did. I think, I do think it's deserving of, that and Masters of Sex. I think, maybe just like a writing nomination or something.
But last year was Gorilla on Masters of Sex.
That's true. But yeah,
Meaning that it was bad.
Well, no, there was literally a plot with it.
No, I know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I really like The Affair. Even if it hadn't gotten in for acting, I could see.
It's kind of one of those shows though that it has when it has 4 semi-equal leads, it's sometimes it's difficult to make a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I do think
they're all in different categories.
And Maura is the strongest.
Yeah, she won the Globe this year, so that's great for her. And she should have won for ER 15 years ago. So.
All right. Let's stick to this year. All right, so I'm gonna pick BoJack Horseman for Best Animated Series.
I agree.
I think it's kind of amazing on Netflix, and it's funny, it's weird, it's surreal, and it's also more profound than you would expect, and it's this weird meditation on depression and fame and friendship. It's everything. It's a very satisfying show for me, and I'm surprised that it wasn't nominated.
I think South Park still got in, right?
Yeah.
That was nominated for animated series. They could knock South Park off. BoJack Horseman.
They could kill Kenny. So, all right. So, what about any other snubs you guys want to talk about? No? The CW. There's the eternal.
It's just really sad. The Emmys just has this bias against the CW. If you think about it, they're more welcoming to, these new, like streaming and cable and stuff. But they've never opened the door for a CW show or a performer in the top categories. And, the past 2 years, they've had really great contenders in Gina Rodriguez and Jane the Virgin, and this year with Rachel Bloom and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
They both won the Golden Globe.
Yeah, they both won the Golden Globe, which is par for the course because the Globes love ingenues.
Yeah.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend got a lot of song nominations.
It got a song nomination and a choreography.
Too.
Yeah, so Rachel Bloom does have nominations, but not for acting.
Got it. All right. And speaking of networks that don't get attention, also Unreal didn't,
Constance got in.
Constance never got in, but not for series, right? Lifetime's never.
Lifetime they've never fielded a series nominee in either comedy or drama, but Mr. Robot is USA's first series nomination. Yeah, because Monk never got comedy series.
Just like 1 million Emmys for Tony Shalhoub
and Steve Carell 1-0.
So, all right. So, one of the things that you mentioned in a piece that you wrote on TV.com, again, tvguide.com, check out our coverage there, is that there's so much new blood.
Yeah.
So, what do you think that's owing to?
I don't know. Maybe voters are just very conscious, of the fact that the Emmy reputation is they're just creatures of habit. They just check off the same name year after year. That's why Modern Family won 5 years in a row, And, it started last year, they wanted to be more inclusive, and they, that's why they expanded the voting pool for the winners, and so everyone can vote. And I think, with all the talk of Oscars so white this year, that the diversity conversation is in the forefront, but the Emmys have always been more diverse than the Oscars. So I think a lot of voters just had that on their mind while they were voting, and maybe they are just fans of all these programming, and television is a lot more diverse, and there's so many more new shows. It's peak TV.
Yeah.
So, but it is nice to see because it's normally they're not welcoming to newbies, and sometimes after a few years, if you haven't made it in, you'll never make it in.
You'll never make it in,
So,
right.
Which is why it's so great to see the Americans after 3 years.
Right, so Kerry Russell, Matthew Rhys from The Americans, Aziz Ansari from Master of None, Thomas Middleditch from Silicon Valley, Ellie Kemper from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Rami Malek from Mr. Robot, All of these people, their first nomination, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellie, I think she just missed last year,
Yeah.
and she got the SAG nomination this year. And she was very lucky because her category, there were 3 open slots because Amy Poehler, Lisa Kudrow, and Edie Falco were all gone.
All their shows were ending, yeah. And so we talked a little bit about Tracee Ellis Ross getting a nomination. This is her first nomination, and the history involving that. But there's some other records that are possible, right?
Yeah.
So Julia Louis-Dreyfus, let's talk about her.
She could win her record 5th straight Emmy for Veep. She's tied right now with Helen Hunt, who won 4 straight. And it will be her 6th overall in the category because she also won in lead for New Adventures of Old Christine.
Yeah.
And it will be her 7th total because she won in supporting for Seinfeld. So that'll be the 2nd most acting Emmys.
Do you think they'll give it to her, like, just because of that? I mean,
I don't know how many voters are aware of that, but like, Veep
was
was really, but Veep was really great this season.
Yeah.
And I think, like, people just love her anyway.
Right.
Like, they'll give it to her.
Allison Janney's another one, right?
Yeah, Allison Janney has 7 right now. She has 2 more nominations for Mom and Guest on Masters of Sex.
Mm-hmm.
So if she wins 1 more, she'll tie Cloris Leachman for the most acting wins. And if she wins 2 more, then she'll have the record to herself.
Wow. Okay. Dwayne on Facebook, I'm going to go to a few more questions. Dwayne on Facebook says, since the Emmys snubs network television so boldly, why don't they just air on HBO or Netflix?
Well, because the broadcast networks have a contract to
Right.
rotate the Emmys.
And they get like gigantic ratings for them, and Sherry on Twitter says, love The Americans, but why not Orange is the New Black? This season of Orange is the New Black was the darkest and most interesting yet. Again,
it was for season 3.
It was for season 3, so the darkest, most interesting season is
next year. Yeah.
Next Emmys. Yeah. Let's see. Haroon on Twitter asked, do you think that Crazy Ex-Girlfriend should have been at least nominated for Best Actress?
Yes, but...
What about, like, among the people who were nominated? Do you think there's anyone that they... Ellie Kemper, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Laurie Metcalf, Tracee Ellis Ross, Amy Schumer, Lily Tomlin. Honestly, I was surprised to see Amy Schumer there because I feel like that we haven't really been talking about her show. Not that her show's excellent, but I mean, like, we haven't really been talking about it.
I also don't like that rule where, like, a performer in, like, a variety show, like SNL can compete against, like, scripted acting. I don't really like that because they, like, years ago, the Emmys eliminated the individual variety performer category.
Right. That's what, and so they sort of combined
So then they let, like, SNL people be eligible.
Like Kate McKinnon's gotten nominated before, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And so this year there's, with a lot, there are a few actresses who have multiple nominations, right?
Yes.
Maybe, I don't know. If Rachel Bloom was going to get in, maybe instead of, like, Laurie Metcalf or, like, Lily Tomlin or something. I don't know.
Because Laurie Metcalf already has 2 other nominations.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So Laurie Metcalf was nominated for 3 different performances this year, right? Getting on The Big Bang Theory and Horace and Pete, which is the show that Louis C.K.
had on his website for
and,
like $5 an episode.
And Sarah Paulson was nominated for both The People vs. O.J. Simpson and for American Horror Story.
Do you think she'll win both?
I don't know. I'm just excited to see how she thanks Holland Taylor in her speech.
So. And
then they'll both be an Emmy-winning couple.
I know.
Power couple.
Holland Taylor won for 2.5 Men?
In Practice.
She won for The Practice. She was nominated for 2.5 Men, wasn't she? Yeah. And then Allison Janney's been nominated for both Mom and Masters of Sex.
Yeah.
We can talk endlessly about C.J. Craig and my love for the West Wing, but we won't. But
I think she's deserving for both of those roles.
Yeah. You love
Yeah.
Mom, don't you?
I really do like Mom, and I really like Allison Janney, but it's just, like, they're so different, and yeah, I'm partial to Masters of Sex, as I already
It's just kind of crazy that she could win her 3rd straight Emmy for Mom, and that show has not gotten recognition in any other category, basically. Like, Anna Faris has not been able to break into lead. The show can't break in to comedy series, even though it gets really
It's kind of like
reviews.
a case of, like, when the Emmys, like, knows an actor.
Yeah, like, they love Allison Janney.
Right.
Yeah.
They love Julia Louis-Dreyfus, too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Joe on Twitter says, Blacklist, once again, #blackballed for unknown sins. What do you think? Blacklist.
I don't watch the Blacklist. I've heard James Spader is amazing.
That's
so.
the reason why I bring this up is because James Spader is kind of one of those actors, right? Like, they nominated for a lot.
He won 3 Emmys for playing the same character on 2 different shows, on The Practice and Boston Legal.
Right. Was he ever not? Was he nominated when he was on The Office?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I kind of had like James Spader like as a contender last year because or the first year of the Blacklist, and then when he didn't make it in, it was just like okay.
You thought they're not going to do it.
Yeah, they're
and
not
they
going to
didn't.
do it.
You're right. All right. Let's see. Cam on Twitter says Billions on Showtime was snubbed. What do you think? I don't think that
Paul
was really a
Giamatti
snub, right?
is pretty
I would
surprising.
consider like Paul like a slightly
And Damian
bigger
Lewis,
snub
too.
than like the show, but like that show never caught on. It wasn't like a
Yeah.
Homeland like breakout hit.
The conversation wasn't there. about that
Yeah,
show.
and like you know, I could see like Paul having gotten a nomination just for being Paul Giamatti, you know.
Yeah.
But
Or it might catch on in like later seasons.
I mean, like maybe
Like, I don't know.
or maybe it'll be the next affair for the show.
Right.
All right, let's talk about your predictions. Lead actor in a drama: Kyle Chandler for Bloodline, Rami Malek for Mr. Robot, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Matthew Rhys for The Americans, Liev Schreiber for Ray Donovan, and Kevin Spacey for House of Cards. Joyce, who's your choice? What's your choice?
I personally want Bob Odenkirk to win,
Yeah.
but I'm tempted to just say Kevin Spacey for now, just because.
You feel like that's the safe choice? That's what.
And he's won the SAG the past 2 years,
Yeah.
and that's usually like a good indicator of how the Emmys will vote, just because like it's actors voting for actors, and it's a popular vote now.
Yeah.
So, but you know, who knows? Maybe like there are a bunch of Mr. Robot fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
do
think
you
it's
think?
going to be Malek. I think
Yeah.
they're going to go with the popular, like, conversation starter.
I think he's my pick
Breakout.
too. Although I'd be happy if Matthew Rhys won as well.
Yeah.
But okay, let's see. Lead actress in a drama series: Claire Danes, Homeland; Viola Davis, How to Get Away with Murder; Taraji P. Henson, Empire; Tatiana Maslany, Orphan Black; Kerry Russell, The Americans; Robin Wright, House of Cards. Joyce.
I have Viola repeating,
Yeah.
just because she's Viola Davis, and she gives an amazing performance in the penultimate episode. When,
And amazing acceptance speeches too.
Yes, amazing acceptance speeches too. But yeah, her Emmy tape has to be the penultimate episode when you find out that she delivered a stillborn baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Liz, who's your choice?
I don't know. I mean, I know people love Tatiana Maslany. I don't watch really any of these shows except for Homeland.
Yeah.
And I don't think Claire Danes has a chance. So, yeah, I could see Viola Davis repeating because she does give good speech.
Yeah.
And,
Claire would be the fifth person to win 3 in that category.
Who were the other 4? Putting you on the spot.
No, I'm not gonna name them.
Okay, all right. All right. Yeah, I think it would be nice if Tatiana Maslany won. But I support a Viola Davis win as well.
I could also see Kerry Russell doing it because you could argue, like, if they're going to nominate her, then maybe...
There's also going to be a lot of vote splitting in that category, I think. There's a lot of supporters for all of those people. All right, lead actor in a comedy series: Anthony Anderson, Blackish; Aziz Ansari, Master of None; Thomas Middleditch, Silicon Valley; Will Forte, The Last Man on Earth; William H. Macy, Shameless; Jeffrey Tambor, Transparent.
Jeffrey Tambor, although I nothing against him, but I don't want him to win it.
Right, because it's not a comedy.
I don't consider it a comedy.
It's category fraud,
yeah, it
as
is.
you would say.
I do love that like this category has seen like such great turnover the past 2 years, because this used to be such a boring category with the same people over and over again.
Yeah, it's definitely a new.
So.
Yeah, but so you didn't pick anybody, did you?
I would love to see Aziz win.
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't think he'll
Yeah,
win.
I could see Aziz
Yeah.
winning as kind of, again, a breakout.
I think Thomas Middleditch is pretty funny too.
Yeah.
And I also think that what Will Forte is doing on that show is just so weird and interesting, and so I don't know. Okay, lead actress in a comedy series: Ellie Kemper, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt; Julie Louis-Dreyfus, Veep; Laurie Metcalf, Getting On; Tracy Ellis Ross, Blackish; Amy Schumer, Inside Amy Schumer; Lily Tomlin, Grace and Frankie.
It's JLD.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. We're all so in the tank for Veep. Like we just like.
But they are too.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
And the thing is like, you know, Arnana Iannucci, the creator,
Yeah,
left
yeah.
the season, and you know, it's like the show could go either way. It could like completely suck or be great, and it was great.
It was great.
So,
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Comedy series: Blackish, Master of None, Modern Family, Silicon Valley, Transparent, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Veep.
I think Veep will repeat.
You do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Transparent.
Okay.
Category fraud.
I'm gonna go with Veep as well. Let's see. Drama series: The Americans, Downton Abbey, Game of Thrones, Homeland, House of Cards, Mr. Robot.
Game of Thrones.
And Better Call Saul is in there too.
Oh, sorry, I missed Better Call Saul.
Yeah, Game of Thrones or Mr. Robot, I would say.
I would like Mr. Robot to win, but
It'll be Game of Thrones.
It'll probably be Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think you're right. Let's see if we have any other questions here. Christopher on Facebook says, nothing for The Walking Dead, travesty. It's a good point. It's a big show. A lot of people watch it.
Yeah,
why
it's
no
just,
nominations?
it's not an Emmy-friendly show. Like, the Emmys don't get, like, down and dirty like that.
Was Jeffrey Dean Morgan eligible, or would he be eligible next year as, like, a guest?
He I don't think they submitted him. I don't know, but, like, he would have been eligible as a guest, but I don't even know if they submitted him or not.
He was only on one episode.
Yeah, but, like, he would have contended in guest.
Okay. Let's see. So Ivan on Facebook asked, so who from Game of Thrones will take home the acting Emmy? What do you think?
Dinklage. Like,
yeah.
I mean, you know, it would be his third one.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that category did not have a repeat winner until Aaron Paul won his second one, and now, like, 2 people could be the first 2 people to win 3 in such a short period of time.
Yeah, that's nuts. All right, Debbie on Facebook asks, since soap operas have almost died out, might they combine the primetime and daytime Emmys someday? I don't know.
No, because that would just be an interminable show.
Also, the daytime, there's tons of daytime Emmys, right? Like,
there's a ton of primetime Emmys.
That's
like,
true.
there's the
That's
Creative
true.
Arts Emmys that they're gonna give out over 2 days now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think and also the creative Emmys are going to be on FXX this year. Is that what they said?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not live because they're taping it over a Saturday and a Sunday, and then they're gonna edit
it together.
broadcast.
Got it. The Primetime Emmys are hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, and they air Sunday, September 18th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on ABC. Just a reminder. I think that's all we have the time for today. Thank you, guys. That's it for TV Guide Live. Thanks, Liz and Joyce, for being here, and thank you all for joining us. We're taking tomorrow off, but we'll be back here at 2 p.m. Eastern on Monday. In the meantime, send your questions to us at TV Guide on Twitter, #TVG Live, or at facebook.com/TV Guide. Have a good day, everybody.